Hey, I'm Mike.
Hi, I'm Jill.
Jill?
Yeah.
Hey, you can have a seat. So it's just telling Hannah that we can make with this time whatever you like for it to be. Just a little bit of reference. We're in one of our older buildings right now. It just happens to be that's where our office is at. We're actually in the process of about a $12 million project. We'll be building a 4-story building, brand new offices and all that stuff. I've got notes on things that I've learned throughout the years. If you want to learn about management principles, or if you don't, that's fine. We don't have to. We can also go over to the construction site. You can take a look at like social media. LinkedIn contacted us a few months ago and said that we're one of their top 11 influencers. And so that's been an interesting journey in getting to that stage, and I'm happy to share any of that you guys want to know. Yeah, any input, any things you want to see?
I don't know, I guess, okay, I'm trying to decide what I want to go to college for. I know I want to do something in business, so I just kind of want to learn about, like, I guess, what you do and how you got to where you are.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll go back to the story of how I got started a little bit. We'll finish up that question and jump into anything you guys want. So backing up to the beginning, this is a family business. My parents started this business about 25 years ago. And there's pictures of me in a crib in a construction site. Maybe not totally legal, but the statute of limitations are over, so we're good to go. But the one thing I knew is that I never wanted to be a part of the business. And even though my parents had this small business right there ready for me to jump into, I didn't want to do that because I didn't want people to think that it was handed to me. So I had to work through my own ego on that and realize what an opportunity. Let me take what I have in front of me and make it into something great. 10 years ago, I joined full-time, and my dad and I doubled the size of the company in the first 5 years. And my dad passed away, and at that point I took on the whole business, and we doubled again in the last 5 years. So one of the interesting tidbits I've learned throughout life is that the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. So basically, people will only do 90% of what you're doing if you're the leader. And if you're running at a 50% pace, no one's going to put in 100% around you, right? They're just going to go off and do other things. They want to be with leaders that are passionate and willing to put the effort into what they do. Another one is servant leadership. And I like bringing up this picture because this is my wife's dad. And he is hands down the nicest person you will ever meet. And the principle behind this that I like to kind of cover is that you can break the world into 3 major groups: into the givers, the matchers, and the takers. The givers who give as much as they can to help out people without being completely taken advantage of are the ones who do the best. And what I mean by that is when you meet with people, like when we go out to networking events, to try to make their dreams come true. Because when you make other people's dreams come true, guess what? They remember that and they remember you. When you're trying to achieve something, they are passionate about helping you achieve that same thing. Now, if you're matched up with a taker, you might try to help their dreams come true initially, but if they keep taking and taking and taking, you got to put reasonable bounds on that. You don't want to be just taken advantage of either. Another good point on personal growth is 360-degree feedback. So if you look at a mirror at yourself, you can only see about 80% of yourself directly. There's about 20% of yourself you need a mirror to go see, right? The same is true with your personality. There are parts of your personality that are plainly obvious to everyone around you that you have no idea about. And getting that feedback from others, getting that real feedback, the feedback that isn't sugar-coated, the feedback that is exactly what you need to hear to improve yourself, is so incredibly critical and painful. So that's some of the basics on personal growth, but you need to grow yourself first, because if you're not the right person, you're not going to achieve great things. And you can become the right person, but it takes work to do that. The next one is vision. So you need to know what you're trying to accomplish. Purpose is your why. Your purpose is why you get out of bed in the morning. You're not getting out of bed in the morning just to build apartments. You're getting out of the bed in the morning for something much deeper than that. There are different levels to understanding what our overarching vision is. And I would say probably the deepest level is our values. That is who we are. The step higher than that is mission. That's what you do. For us, that's building and managing quality apartments. And then beyond that, you have goals, you have strategies, and then you have goals. So for us, when we think about creating a better way to live, and not just being an apartment company, that inspires different strategies than if you just had a dream of building an apartment building. So for us, those 4 key strategies, at least at the moment, because strategies can change. One is smart apartments. So as we start to dream about new ways to really create a better way for people to live, we realize that part of us accomplishing that requires us to have the technology in place to do that. So smart apartments and technology become one of our key strategies. Another key strategy for us is lifestyle living. Your car is out front. I bet you hate repairing that or bringing that to the repair shop, right? And then you've got to sit and wait, or you got to carpool with someone who drops it off for you. Why not have a company come to our site and repair your vehicle for the same cost as it would cost to go elsewhere? Lifestyle living. So it's things like that. And so we actually have some of those partnerships already. Like, you can actually get your vehicle repaired for you right now at our properties, and someone will come repair it for you. So a couple of other ones is community. This is one of our resident events. I love this picture because this captures the moment of friendships happening. When you build true community, you want to know you have friends next door. You want to know you have people that you can trust and rely on, that know who you are. In order for residents to have a fantastic experience, you have to first provide a fantastic experience and support to your employees, because it's your employees who interact with those residents.
I guess just like, how do you predict your goals that far into the future? Like, how do you know what to estimate?
Yeah, that's a great question. You don't want goals that are unachievable. You know, Jim Collins in his book Good to Great talks about this, and you want to list out a big, hairy, audacious goal. And so even if it's not unattainable completely, they still outline, what is my big, crazy dream goal?
You have taken so many new steps for this company, and I guess, like, what do you think is the individualistic part of every step, or can some of it be shared, I guess?
So I'd say, I mean, everything can be done by entrepreneurs starting their own business. A lot of pain in getting to that first set of sales, and then pain trying to get that something started, because you don't have a business if you're not making some kind of income. You want to think about 3 key principles. One is, what drives your economic engine? Because if you're starting a business that isn't making money, you're not going to be in business very long. It's just a hobby then, right? The second thing is, you want to think about what you can be best in the world at. And that is no easy bar to hit. And that leads into the third one, which is, what are you passionate about? Because starting a business is not for the faint of heart. It's a lot of work. And this is the journey, the curve of your experience. You start off being excited, and then, well, this is a little bit more work than I thought. And then you go into, oh my gosh, what the bleep did I get myself into? And then there's a bunch of curse words as you're down here in the darkness. And you're like, at some point, you're like, oh, this really stinks, but it's okay. And then you eventually climb out. People only talk about, because, like, who wants to talk about all their failures getting there? They only talk about the success. This might be 10 years. So if you decide to start your own business, know that it's going to be hard, but if you start failing, guess what? That's part of the process. That's just learning to get there. When having your own business, the thing that will kill you fundamentally is your team. If you have the wrong people working by your side, your life will be awful. If you have the right people, your life will be magical. It is a world of difference. So you can always train skills. You can't train for being the right person. So it's important to know your values, find the right people based upon those values, so you can bring in the right people. Because in some cases, you might have the right person, they just might be in the wrong seat. They may not be passionate about insurance. but they might be passionate about construction or IT or something different. And so when you have people in the seat that they're genetically hardwired to do, that they love what they do, magic happens. And then lastly is just serve your team. So train people well enough so that they can leave, but treat them well enough so that they don't. If I would give you one key principle to just start doing, it's one-on-ones. A one-on-one for us is a half-an-hour meeting between every manager and their employee once a week. It is a time for the manager to listen, because relationship happens with communication over time. Another one is feedback. For us, feedback is something that we give regularly, and we want to make it easy. It's nothing big. The purpose of feedback, though, is to improve the employee's behavior. Well, guess who's producing results? It's your employees. And you want to help them grow and improve, right? So now you have to act in accordance that's helping them grow and improve. With feedback, the first question I ask is, can I give you some feedback? The biggest reason is because, again, feedback is about helping them improve. We only want to give feedback if the employee wants to hear it. Otherwise, what's the point? If they say yes, then we speak about a specific behavior, and then the result of that behavior, and then way to go keep it up, or what can you do to improve that?
How did you know you wanted to grow your own business?
I knew deep down in my heart of hearts, I always wanted to try to make a mark on this world. So for me, I realized that running a business and taking it from something small and making it something larger that impacts people's lives in a way that improves their lives, that makes their life better, would help me fulfill at the deepest level what I wanted to accomplish in my life. Life is so short. You only have so much time in this life. Know what you want and fight for it. So there's a lot of principles you've learned, or I've covered here today, and I'll have some resources if you want to learn more on your own time. But keep building those principles so it becomes more than just my words. It becomes something that you internalize, so then your behavior reflects that principle. If you want to, we can tour the construction site if that's interesting.
I kind of want to go see the site.
Yeah? Okay. All right, let's do that then. Just control some of the smart features of the unit. So climb up to the next floor. Yeah, thank you guys so much for your time. This was fun.
I learned a lot.
Good. Hopefully it wasn't too overwhelming.
No, it wasn't really what I expected, but it was a lot better in that way.
Yeah. Well, cool.